Hello everyone and welcome to Off the Rack, the comic book review and recap show here on ComicPOP, where we take comics from the past week and then share them with you and tell you what we thought about them and then make recommendations for books that come out this week we think you should pick up. I'm Sal.
I'm Tiffany.
So before we jump into the books, I wanted to make a quick PSA for you guys about ComicPOP specifically. Number one, as of the recording of this episode, we have crossed the 70,000 subscriber barrier. We made it, and it is in no small part to the incredible efforts thanks to Comicstorian,
Yes.
who shared our theory about Jason Todd Robin and Damien, which made a lot of people mad
Yes.
about a made-up thing that's never going to happen and isn't really even happening.
Did not want to make people angry.
But it made a lot of people mad, and apparently that's the way to get people going.
Just a thought experiment.
It's an old-school Marvel tactic, by the way. Make them angry, and they will buy your stuff.
Oh.
I don't know if that ever works in any other way, but it certainly worked for us. But we want to thank you all, of course. And
Yeah.
if anybody who's new here, who's just subscribed and is like, oh, crap, they're live right now. Hello, welcome to the
Hi.
show, and welcome to the channel itself. And before we jump into that, we want to say we are going to be at the Keystone Comic-Con in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on the 15th of September. We're going to be there, actually, all 3 days, but, like, the most important one to remember is September 15th at 3 to 4 p.m. Our full, all four members of the team ComicPOP panel will be happening from 3 to 4 p.m. in room 11B or 111, something like that.
Don't pay attention to the room because we don't know have
It'll
information right now.
Well, I
but-
have the information. It's just that I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah,
but, like,
yeah.
It'll be in the program. It's on the website. Go check it out. And we hope to see you there. Why should you go? Well, number one, you're going to meet all of us, all four of us. We're going to hang out with you and stuff like that. We're going to be doing a big fun panel. And we're also going to be making merchandise, ComicPOP merchandise available for purchase as well at this show. Most notably, these posters here, which are lovingly drawn by the incredible Chris Giarusso, who did G-Man and Mini Marvels, after Arthur Adams, who did that iconic Fantastic Four, the new Fantastic Four cover that we did a back issues for, actually, not too long ago. But, so yeah, you can pick up this poster. There's also another one with our real faces on them, but you know what?
This is better.
I paid money for this one as opposed to the other one, which was just us taking pictures. Actually, you designed the other poster.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can get this. We're signing them and making them happen. So come to the panel, and we're going to be coming out with a special video to be giving away 2 free passes to the Keystone Comic-Con.
Yes.
For 2 or 1 lucky winner. That
So keep
does
an eye
it.
out for that
Keep
video.
an eye out for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's coming out probably in the next day or so. So probably tomorrow. Probably not. I have to cut it. We'll see. Anyway. So let's jump into it. There's a bunch of books that came out. I don't want to dwell too long on any one particular one. So
Okay.
let's start off with Amazing Spider-Man, number 4 from Nick Spencer and Ryan Otley.
How's it going?
I forgot everything that happened in this issue, and I read it 2 days ago.
So well.
Yeah, it's going great. So this is continuing the story of oh no, Spider-Man and Peter Parker are separated, and it's the power and responsibility angle again. We gotta worry about power and responsibility. It's funny, I was thinking about how badly I've wanted to see Peter Parker and Mary Jane get back together, and I've been teased it so many times through variant covers and alternate realities and Secret Wars tie-in events that, and when it finally happened, it was kind of like, why did you do it like that? Like, why'd you do it so quickly? Is it even going to happen? And then I've heard rumblings that maybe it's like, oh no, they can be together, but they can never be married. It's like, oh, well, then I'm not really interested. Because then it can end any time.
Yeah.
Even though apparently when they're married, they can end any time. But the reason why I'm kind of not so thrilled about this issue is because it retreads some old ground. Oh, did you know that Spider-Man can't exist without the mantra of power and responsibility? And Peter Parker realizes that the separated Spider-Man entity that lives out there, or that's out there in the world today, lacks the moral lesson that he learned from Uncle Ben. Apparently he doesn't know about Uncle Ben. He doesn't,
he doesn't know about him at all?
No, he doesn't remember him. Peter Parker got all of the Peter Parker stuff. Spider-Man got all the Spider-Man stuff. But the Uncle Ben stuff stuck with Peter Parker. Although oddly enough, the science stuff stayed with Spider-Man, even though Peter Parker is kind of the scientist.
How will he pass his finals?
Well, how will he get into this program he's in? There's this graduate program.
Yes.
That's being headed up by the Lizard. We also find out more about the Tri-Sentinel. Apparently it's being manipulated by Mendel Strom, who's an old school villain that was like, oh, that was kind of fun that Mendel Strom got thrown in there.
Right.
But who cares? And he's being manipulated by an unseen, evil shadow figure who could be the guy who was revealed to be a new villain and the backup for the first issue, who is so uniconic and so uninteresting I couldn't care less.
Okay.
But like, who knows? It looks like he's like that guy is amassing like a team or squad of villains. He got
possibly 6 of them.
Oh, that'd be interesting. A sinister group, you might say. Who knows? I certainly hope it's not Doc Ock because I'm going to freak out. But no, he got Mysterio, and now he's got Mendel Stromm, which is like Mysterio. Okay. But so you get to see like what a responsible Spider-Man would do, and he like provides superhero Uber rides and takes endorsement deals and whatnot, and ultimately Peter Parker's had enough, and so he challenges Spider-Man. Like he basically just like he actually pays for the Uber service from Spider-Man so that they can have a chance to talk.
Right.
And Spider-Man wants nothing to do with him. He's like, yeah, I didn't really like you. Like, get away from me.
Okay.
And actually, Spider-Man winds up like dressing down Peter for like being a loser and for never like amounting to anything or trying or like living up to his potential.
Okay.
And he's like, no, that's that voice that's in the back of my head that always doubts whatever I'm supposed to do. Like, that's funny hearing it and seeing it in front of me. But basically, we're reiterating the idea that like without the responsibility, Spider-Man's a jerk.
Right, okay.
We get that. But so then Peter goes back to the lab and they discover that the lab rat experiments that they did on the split duality thing, not only is it like bad because some parts get like they'll die.
Okay.
It's like now it's urgent as opposed to like before when it was like you're not Spider-Man anymore. Like, but no. So the idea is that like, oh, and he doesn't remember Uncle Ben because part of the like deterioration of the host is like memory loss.
Okay.
So,
okay.
But Mr. Giggles in Super Chat saying that I'm really salty about the new Spider-Man. No, criticism isn't really salt, nor is it hate. It's just more like, hey, like I can talk about these things. So yeah, Mendel Stromm gets manipulated into working for them, and apparently, like, then they reveal that there's going to be more Tri-Sentinels in the future.
Okay.
And the tease for the next issue actually is one of the best pieces of art from Ryan Otley on the Spider-Man story.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's a great-looking piece. I don't have it here, but I will say, like, go check that out because it's pretty dope. Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Really...
But it's just it's Spider-Man cradling a seemingly dead Peter Parker.
Right.
Like fine. So hopefully we'll wrap up the split Spider-Man Peter Parker story arc with this one because like it's time to wrap it up. Also, we're at 5 issues. We're only 2 shy away from a trade paperback. So obviously we have to have 2 more issues left.
Or not, or they'll make a short one.
No, they don't do that anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean they could do it. Actually, they've done that before, where they like charge the same amount for a smaller trade paperback.
Right.
So yeah, you're not wrong. I shouldn't have dismissed that out of hand.
Could happen. It could happen.
Mr. Roboto, 2-way radios from the Spider-Man to pass test.
Yeah, right? Like Spider-Man. But that means Spider-Man would have to like not be a dick.
Right, and that's the thing. He's unwilling to help Peter Parker, and he sees Peter Parker as a hindrance more.
That would be kind of amazing though, because then you'd have like the moment where like, Peter's trying to tell him what the question is, and then like Spider-Man is
getting a fight with somebody.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, wait, what was the answer? Like,
yeah. Like, Mr. Parker, stop talking to yourself. But,
or like he finds some like explosive device that he has to disarm, and it requires like some sort of voice code that requires like A, B, and C, and like or whatever. And Peter's taking a multiple choice question.
Yeah.
So like Spider-Man's like B, C, A, and he's like, wait, it can't be all these answers.
Right. Oh no.
But do all the above.
He's trying to deactivate a bomb or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. This is I'd heard that Otley is going to be off the book for a little while because he needs time to like to draw.
Oh, so maybe they'll wrap this arc up and then do like a couple of like stopgap issues.
Yeah.
To fill in that trade, you know what I mean?
No,
like,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
At the very least, we're definitely getting towards the end of this arc, and for my money, none too soon.
Okay.
Because I'm not the only one who thinks that it's like a real like kind of bore fest. Benny the Comic Historian and I were talking about it, and he was way harder on it than I was, but I gotta say, like, it was weak. It was weak.
I am more of a fan typically of a slow burn. Mm-hmm. Like I don't mind like the jumping into it, but like sometimes the writer can't keep up to that sort of like ta-da, you know what I mean? So like maybe that's what this is. Maybe this is just like a hey, we're gonna have a couple of just one-off quirky.
That's what I was hoping for. I want like that. I like those stories, but this isn't really that. And I think I've identified what the real problem is.
Okay.
There is virtually no it doesn't feel like a Spider-Man story.
Okay.
And I think it's because the core cast isn't really present. There's not a lot of J. Jonah Jameson stuff.
Right.
There is very little Aunt May stuff.
Right.
The Mary Jane and Peter Parker being together thing, 2 panels per book or less. Like this one, there's 0.
Right. Okay.
So, for me, the trinity of Spider-Man, they're notably absent from this story.
Okay.
And even those who they chose to put in, like Randy Robertson and Nora Winters and stuff like that, they're in there for like a joke, and then you don't see them anymore.
Okay.
Like they don't. There's no A and B plot. It's just this one thing, and they're separated. And actually, it would make sense to have an A and B plot, like a Spider-Man plot and a Peter Parker plot.
Right.
Because then...
But they're also separate.
Because they're separate. Like, that'd be great, and a great opportunity to play with that. But it just doesn't feel like a Spider-Man comic.
Right. Okay.
So, we'll see. I mean, like, maybe we were all a little too excited about Nick Spencer taking over because he gave us Mary Jane. It's like, what's the point if you're not going to do anything with it?
Okay.
I mean, and it's not hard. It's 4 issues into this now.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Let's go. But... I will be reading the rest because I want to see where this wraps up. So I recommend it, I guess.
Okay.
But it is wholly skippable. The fact they have recap pages, you don't need to read this issue in order to get the next one. Oh. You straight up don't.
Okay.
Like, Mendelstrom's back and there's more Tri-Sentinels on the way. Oh no!
Tri-Sentinels.
Yeah. Lol. What's a book you did that you want to talk about?
I all the books I read this week I liked, so like I'm down for whatever. Like you want to go stay in Marvel, I can do that. You want to go over to DC, I can do that too. I don't care.
All right. Yeah, let's go to DC.
Okay, so I did Justice League Dark #2 this week.
Yeah, how is it?
I love this book. I really do. I'm having such a good time with it, which is like funny to say because like it's it's the end of days for magic. It's the last days of magic.
Yes, but in DC now.
The last age of magic, sorry. That's what it's actually called. That's the arc.
Yeah.
This is by Tynion IV with pencils by Alvaro Martinez Bueno.
And is he?
He is. He's pretty good. He's
Good.
actually pretty good. I enjoy what he does with this.
Cool.
Just with the visuals and everything. We've been finding out a lot of like what's going on in terms of magic,
yes.
and in terms of like the magic community doesn't like people interfering, and they're just like Wonder Woman is interfering.
Right.
Like, get out. But like, at the end of the day...
She's like, I'm literal magic.
Yeah, like, come on, give me a break here. So, like, we were revealed last time that, like, Zatanna, like, went to Swamp Thing and they went to the Tree of Wonder.
Yeah.
And they...
Are those trees still there?
Yes.
Where did they displace cities and stuff?
At least the Wonder one is. Just hanging out there.
Okay. I mean, that's fine.
But, well, that one, like, look, you're going to do a magic thing? Yeah, that tree can stay.
Right, you got it. I mean, like, you have this great opportunity. Plus, the book, Justice League Dark, spins out of
It does.
No Justice? I kept getting No Justice and Total Justice mixed up.
It's total justice.
Total justice.
Totally justice. So anyway, last book we found out that like Zatanna had like a vision of her father saying that like she had to team up with everybody, but one of those people could bring about the end of everything.
Right.
Like it's real bad. Mm-hmm. But like that she had to basically become part of this team, right? Mm-hmm. So this book starts with a like flashback of Diana as a little girl on like the Mascara or Paradise Island, whichever you like.
Yeah.
Everybody is whatever.
Everybody's got their preference.
Yeah, you got your preferences. But basically she is wandering through the woods and it's a story about how it's just like, she used to like go off and like do whatever, but like there was like a part of like her world that like you're not meant to go to, and like it was this area where like these I think 9 I can't remember I think 9
rings went to
Chthonian witches would walk, and you were never meant to go there, but she couldn't help herself, so she followed the pathways out there. And like one night, like she heard like this like chanting and stuff like that, and she crawls up into a tree and she sees these like 9 women like dancing around like old school like Salem style,
straight up
like
witches,
like naked, just doing their thing,
like
right?
the Vavitch.
Yes, like the Vavitch. But anyway, she's watching them, and as she's watching them, like they're like dancing, and like all of a sudden, like it's like her eyes are playing tricks on them, because it's like as they're dancing, they're like melding into one another. Mm-hmm. And so like upon that happening, like there's like this big like honeypot style thing, like a vase in the center of it, and it like opens and like hands start coming out of it, and she gasps. And what comes out of it is Hecate, or Hecate, whatever you want to call it. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Who in this version is like, there's like 2 different forms of her that you've seen in like actual Greek myth. Mm-hmm. And like this is the one where she's 3. That's why there's 9 witches, because the 3 of them merged together. And they actually do. Like, these women are, like, now, like, 3 people in one. And so there's, like, limbs everywhere. Like, pieces of faces and stuff like that.
Cool.
And they chase her down. And they grab Diana as a child. And they drag her to Hecate.
Oh,
And, like, Hecate takes her mark, which is, like, we've actually seen this. It's, like, a simplified version of an actual, like, mark of her. And they brand her on her forehead.
What?
Yeah. I was like, what?
Like you'd think that would have come up.
Right? But I like that because it's just kind of like, hey, this is probably going to happen. Something's going to go on with this later on.
Yeah, definitely.
Or it's like a way of being like, everybody keeps saying she's not magic. Look at this.
Right. Behold.
Yeah. So anyway, it cuts back in literally where like the last book left off, where it's just like they're dealing with all those like dead
the things
people.
In the basement?
Yeah, the things in the basement. And they're like fighting them down. And like Detective Chimp's like, Zatanna, you going to use her magic? She's like, yeah, that's not, I can't. It's going to make it worse. If I do that, it's going to make them stronger. They're feeding off of like whatever. Mm-hmm. So they ended up like beating them down basically. Okay. And then like Wonder Woman grabs Zatanna and it's just like, all right, what do you mean one of us is going to like end everything? Like she's giving her some real like,
that's funny.
crap.
Like we're not going to wait 2 arcs for you to bring this up again.
No, she just grabs her by her like shirt collar and she like holds her up there and she's like, all right.
Yeah, that's
like,
enough.
You guys made fun of me, and now you're just like, oh, someone's gonna end the world here. No, we're not doing that.
Nope,
and
we're
like,
gonna find that out now. That's
Thing,
arc
like
1.
intervenes. Is like, well, chill out. Like she did come here to help out. Like relax. Like she's like, my dad came to me and I had a vision. Blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. So like then they decide they're like, all right, we need more information because nobody actually knows what's going on here. All we know is that like her dad said that like the person or the thing that originally magic was stolen from in the DC universe to give like magic to the world is coming for it.
Okay.
So they're like, let's go see Dr. Fate.
Yay!
So they go to his tower there, and everybody's like, they also get Man-Bat back to not being Man-Bat anymore.
Oh, they went back to Langstrom.
Yeah, no, he's just a guy again. He's not even like part bat, part man right now. He's just a dude. So
oh, cool.
It's like, good for you.
Did they use magic to do it, or did they use
No,
science?
they used the serum.
Oh, good.
Like his serum, like they just kind of do that. But like,
cool.
They go in, and Swamp Thing doesn't go in. He just hangs out outside. He's gonna go chat with the tree a little bit, or Swamp Thing.
Oh, is Fate's tower by the tree?
I guess it is. Yes, it is. See, it's like back there.
There it is.
And of course it would be, because he's Dr. Fate.
Makes sense.
It's like a
and it's Fate
beacon,
to be there,
essentially, of like magical energy. Mm-hmm. So they go in, and Dr. Fate's like, hello. Like, first of all, like, Zatanna, I see you've broken like the community of magic stuff by bringing all these like normies here. Mm-hmm. And like, so you got like Detective Chimp, Langstrom, and Wonder Woman who are all like,
thanks.
Screw you.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, where were you?
It was a good secret organization once.
Yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous. But they're like, okay, here's the thing. Like, we need to speak to Nabu.
Okay.
Who is the person, like, it depends on the origin
entity.
It's either the entity that takes control of Dr. Fate at times, or the person who gives Dr. Fate his
helmet
powers and all that. It depends on which version you're talking about. But they're like,
since it's Rebirth, it's all the versions.
They're like, at the end of the day, they're like, look, we're not looking for your answers, Dr. Fate. We're looking for his answers. So like, we need to talk to him. So he's just like, all right, I'm going to take Wonder Woman and Zatanna, and we'll go do that. And, like, Langstrom and Detective
and the
Chimp.
animals can stay in the yard.
Exactly. You just chill out here, all right? Mm-hmm. So while it's going on inside, Swamp Thing is, like, doing his thing, and, like, Constantine shows up, and he's just like, hey, so you're just going to punk out, huh? Because, like, Swamp Thing is looking to basically retire and join, like, the rest, like, there's, like... Constantine describes it as like a retirement home basically style thing where he's just going to give up like being like the emissary of the green.
Really?
And like defender of it.
Oh.
Like he just wants to quit. He's going to let somebody else do it because he's just like someone who's more connected to humanity would be better at this because like at the end of the day, humans constantly surprise me about what dicks they are and how much they'll destroy everything. And so like fair. I'm kind of done. And Constantine's like, stop being such a jerk. Like, stop, like, which is, like, kind of a lot coming from Constantine. Like, it's just, like, really? Like, it's just, like, come on. Like, just don't be like this.
Yeah.
Don't, like, this is not the answer. Mm-hmm. Like, you do not have the answer here.
Right.
So, anyway, Dr. Fate takes Zatanna and Wonder Woman deeper into his, like...
lair or sanctum.
I don't want to call it a sanctum,
it's
but
a sanctum.
It's a sanctum. And he's like, let me tell you a quick story real quick of, like, the beginning of time where, like...
oh, yeah.
Primordial man kind of thing, like, ended up finding magic and as an energy, basically. And, like, it was so raw and so powerful that like when they tapped into it, like it was like so destructive, and so like they had to come up with all these ways to like tame it and like put it into items and write books about it and all this stuff, and like this order came about from it, right? And like the fact is that like the issue isn't that it's like the owner's coming for magic in a way. It's just that it's like this is what you're seeing. What those people who were dead are actually those who have tapped into like the raw magic, because like everybody's trying to get a piece of it right now and they're not following the rules like they should be, kind of thing. So while it's going on, Detective Chimp and Langstrom are like hanging out like in like his like, you know, MC Escher style like place, like, and Chimp's like, I don't like the fact that this doesn't like follow the laws of physics. And Langstrom's like, all right, whatever. And he sees like this pot and he's just like, I swear to God, there's like a little man waving at me on this pot. And so he picks it up and he ends up dropping it.
Oh.
And I gotta make sure I get his name correct here. Khalid Nassour pops out, who is another Dr. Fate, I think from Earth 2. Oh. And he's just like, Dr. Fate's not in control anymore. He's just like, you have to listen to me. Like, that Dr. Fate ain't Dr. Fate anymore. It's Nabu. He's completely taken over. It's all him. And then he gets pulled back into the pot. And they're like, So that's about the time, like, in the conversation that, like, Diana and Zatanna are having, that, like, Diana's like, I can't remember if it's Diana or it's Zatanna. One of them's just like, you're not Dr. Fate anymore. Like,
how do they know? They know too?
Because of, like, his attitude and what he starts saying, you know what I mean? And it's just like, Nabu apparently was like, he opened the door for whatever's coming to come. Oh. Because he's just like, yeah, no, we're just going to set things back the way they should be. And like, you guys will all thank me later on.
Right, sure.
It's going to be great. You'll see. So then they have to, like, fight Dr. Fate, and, like, he leaves. And he's just like, it doesn't matter. He's just like, you think you're going to kick my butt and, like, stop me, but it's already here. It doesn't matter. And then the reveal is this dude who is like upside down. And like when I say upside down, like he's physically upside down, but then like where his eyes should be is a mouth. And he has no other features, so he's like super creepy, and like that's what they're gonna have to fight next. And I'm like,
you're like, that's awesome.
I'm like,
Sounds like this is a book that's right up your alley.
I'm like so in on this book, and I don't know how they're gonna fix this problem, and then what they'll do after this, because I'm just like, you set the bar way up here.
That's cool.
You set the bar up here. Where are we going with this?
That sounds great.
So I'm super excited. I like the team having like forcing them to work together. I'm sure at some point the rest of the magical community will have to come into play, because I know they're all meeting about things secretively, like Etrigan and all that stuff. So it's like, you know. So.
Yeah, and you can't do this kind of book without those characters.
Right? Well, I mean, they shunned Diana, so I don't know. I don't know.
True.
All I know is if you, like, dig magic and you're looking for just something else that, like, maybe Doctor Strange or Magic Order isn't hitting you right now the right way, I would definitely check this out, because, like, when they say Justice League Dark, it's definitely got that, like, darker, creepier feel to it. So, and that, like, design of that guy, the upside-down guy, woo!
Nice.
Awesome.
Mr. Roboto, is Just League dark about justice or dark?
I guess it's about both in a way.
Yeah, justice for the dark. Maybe.
Yeah, well, no, they're trying to. I guess it's more about the dark than anything else right now. They are more operating in the dark, which I like.
Yeah.
I like magic, like when it's hidden away like that. It's cool, where it's just like makes you question. It's very Constantine.
Yeah.
I like the fact that he keeps showing. He's just showing up judging people.
Hey,
he's not actually doing anything.
I'm not in the book. I'm not on the team. Goodbye.
Make you feel bad.
Yeah,
like if I'm making you feel bad, you know you've hit rock bottom.
And what was it? Lucas Zalbot saying Khalid is the DCU Fate.
All right, well.
So there you go. Thank you. So yeah, we're gonna switch gears a little bit and talk a little bit about the West Coast Avengers. Okay. Which is a book that I was like, oh, that looks fun. Like I remember when they announced they were gonna make the West Coast Avengers, I was like, cool, good for you guys. Like this is a neat story. It's written by Kelly Thompson with art by Stefano Caselli. And so okay, this is the most West Coast feeling book I've ever seen. Having not been, I'm not from the West Coast, but I've been there a number of times, and I know several people who live over there. This feels like a West Coast book. It feels like it's written by people. It doesn't feel like it's written by a bunch of, like, 50-year-old men from New York who are writing about the West Coast. It feels very and positively Californian.
Right.
It doesn't feel West Coast, it feels Californian.
Yeah.
And so this story is interesting because it's basically just it stars the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, I read a little bit of it.
Yeah.
I read over it.
Okay. The idea is that, like, it's punctuated by an interview, which is a very classic trope. Everyone who's a member of the new West Coast Avengers team is being interviewed by a, like, unreliable and kind of antagonistic narrator. And so we eventually get through and meet everybody.
Yeah.
And it's framed by the interview that takes place after the story's over and the action that takes place that leads up to the end, which doesn't end. It ends on a cliffhanger, which leads into the next issue.
Yes.
So the story is that Kate Bishop Hawkeye is fighting some land sharks,
Yep.
which look fantastic.
They really do.
And she is aided by America Chavez, who uses her teleportation powers in an incredibly convenient way that you would expect her to use every time.
Right.
Like, she is the Batmobile for the West Coast Avengers team.
Right.
And she requests America send Hawkeye to her so that they can team up. So,
Okay.
so both Hawkeyes are riding a land shark and shooting the other land sharks with arrows.
Right.
And America's helping them as best they can. They're also on the beach,
Yeah.
and the ultimate goal is to lead them back into the water because
Sure.
the writer didn't think that there was any other way to get rid of them other than to lead them into water. Even
Also-
though they're land sharks, which means why would they go
Well,
back?
I mean, who knows? They might be, both.
Yeah, and they are amphibian, so
Right.
they can go in, which sharks are not, but these are because they can both live on land and water.
Right, exactly. And,
Yeah. So we meet Johnny Watts, a.k.a. Fuse, who is a newer character that I have literally zero familiarity with whatsoever.
Right.
Straight up, I was like, who is this person? Why does he look like he came from Avengers Initiative? And that's because he probably is an allegory character for a character that they killed off in the Initiative.
Okay.
But he is dating Kate Bishop.
Yes.
And so we meet Johnny Watts, and this is where the art gets to be a problem for me, and we'll get into that after we're done with the recap.
Okay.
So basically the team, both Hawkeyes, Johnny, and America lead the sharks into water, and then celebrate by having pizza.
They each have their own pizza.
They each get their own pizza, which is like, I might have a whole pizza if I had to fight.
I also assume they can't agree on toppings.
No, of course not. This group, no way. But they're basically talking about how, like, they need to have a team, and it's like it's this kind of, like, real life mixed with comic book stuff that actually makes me, like, have a problem with comics where they're like Kate Bishop is like, I need to have a super team, and I'm like, where is your money?
Yeah.
And it's because she's also a private investigator.
Yes.
But I'm like, you don't need a West Coast Avengers team. You need, like, a job.
Yeah, well, do talk about that.
They do a little bit.
They talk about quite a bit.
Well, they talk about, like, how she needs to make money, they talk about how she needs to pay the members of the West Coast Avengers to be on her team.
Yes.
Again, I'm like, where's this money coming from?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, they tell you here.
Do they? Where?
Yes.
Because I did not catch that.
Oh, no, like, the whole thing is, like, she starts trying to put the team together, and then, like, inevitably, like...
Oh, God, right. Okay, you're
Yeah,
right.
no.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
I meant, like, before... Well, because they weren't bitching about the money. They were just, like, living there. And
Yes.
talking about how they were more worried about making the team come together than they were worried about, like, paying rent.
Right, but
And that made me, like, go, what the hell's happening?
Right, but I think she is, but, like, that's probably because she also had, like, a 9-to-5 style job, so she's just like, no, but there's things we have to pay for, and, like, if we ask someone else to join, I feel like we'll have to pay them.
So...
I love this part.
Oh, you like the Mystery Men scene?
I loved the Mystery Men
I'm
scene.
shocked.
I was like...
It's about as good as the Mystery Men scene, too.
Yeah.
We meet a bunch of characters. This is a scene that Bendis would have put into any number of his Avengers runs, which he did. Only instead of having, like, D-list superheroes, because this is a team made of them, they have to go even lower than D to characters that they just made up.
Yeah, which is fine.
So it's a bunch of people. Like, there's a guy named
Bread. Yeah, he's not toast. He's bread.
He's not toast. Nor is his catchphrase, you're toast.
No, because he's bread.
Because he's bread.
It's I'll butter your bread.
Yeah, it's just a guy who dresses like bread.
Yep.
There's, like, a woman who wants to like bang Hawkeye.
Yeah.
And then there's a guy named the Spider who's just made of a bunch
Spider
of spiders.
King.
Spider King, thank you.
I was just like, I love that. She's just like, no, that could actually be a legit power, but I can't do this.
There's a great opportunity to maybe make a joke about the 1,000, but again, no. But we meet a bunch of other characters that are, again, like, jokes, though. No, like, they didn't go, like, let's go F-lists Marvel. Let's just make up some. Surf Doctor, The Broken Watch.
Well, I don't think it's just that. It's like a lot of these people just were like, oh, I could put a costume on and pretend to be... Like,
yeah.
I kind of appreciated that.
I'm glad. And you know what? It's a fun sequence that the art really, like, helps sell.
Yep.
For me, as a, like, Marvel fan, I'm like, you're going to go old school, you're going to make the West Coast Avengers, do a fun, like, joke with old school characters. No, let's make up some characters. And they're all kind of like weird jokes. The Dutch oven, the silver snowboarder that only works in the snow.
Yeah.
Wolverine. That was the one where I'm like, thud.
Well, I think that was just that. That really didn't bother me because, again, like I'm thinking of it not as like they're actual heroes. They just saw the thing and they're kind of crazy.
Right, that's true.
I thought that was kind of funny, and I appreciate the fact that like and her friends show up. They're like,
hey us. She's like, no, get out of here.
Yeah. Clearly this is a conversation that's happened several times.
Yeah.
She's just like, no,
get out of here. And then finally Gwenpool shows up.
Yeah, but just to say goodbye.
Just to say goodbye, but she gets roped into the team.
Yeah.
Gwenpool, by the way, again, the art. I love Gwenpool's suit in this.
Yeah.
It looks like it's actually clothes.
Yes.
Like, it looks like kind of ill-fitting. Like, it's like a little loose on her.
Well, it looks like it's made out of, like, maybe like a leather or like something a little thicker. You know what I mean? That, like, I like it. It's cool.
But I really like it. And then we finally meet, like, the last member of the West Coast Avengers who joins them. And that is Quentin Quire. And it's like, hey, Quentin Quire. Nice use of him. So, Quentin had been... the subject of, or was planning on being the subject of it's not a reality show.
No, they don't know what it is.
They don't know what it is yet. It's going to be either like a movie or a series.
I guarantee it's somebody just studying these guys. Like, it's probably something more villainous behind
right,
it.
Mr. Sinister
so, like,
or something.
they don't know what it is. Like, but they're like, we're going to use this footage for something, either a documentary or, like, whatever.
Yeah, we haven't figured it out yet.
But, like, they've been working with him for 3 weeks now, and he hasn't done anything.
He hasn't done anything.
He's like, I'm part of a team.
Yeah, because it's freaking Kid Omega. And so... he's like, hey guys, I heard you needed a team. I need to be more interesting. Let's join up and we'll let these guys film us. And so they're paid to be the subject of this thing. Yeah. We don't even know what the hell it is, but they're filming them. And so
they have a lot of money.
And they have a lot of money, and so they're paying for it. Right. So it's like, okay, like you can put the pieces together. Who is this organization? They don't reveal at the end.
No.
But anyway, so then we catch up with the documentary and we find out that like it's been, I don't know, like a day and things are rough.
Oh,
like no one's getting along. Gwenpool and Quentin Quire are not having a good time.
No, why would they?
We're also advancing the relationship between Kate and Fuse.
Yep.
Because they were dating for like a couple of months and now they're living together and it's like, oh my god, like. And I like that addressing that where it's like we were not ready to move in together, but we're gonna make it work because we do like dating.
Exactly.
So then
I'm sorry. I love that like Gwenpool is so passive aggressive.
Oh yes,
she's aggressive,
that's
but
the
she's
best
also
one.
passive aggressive.
She's Deadpool aggressive. So she fills Quentin Quire's room with dirty wet towels.
Because he keeps leaving his wet towels on the bathroom floor.
So naturally he must be a big fan of them, and I really liked that.
Because he's just like, there's like 200 towels. Who has time to put 200 wet towels? She's just like, oh, you just seem to like it. I thought that's your favorite thing. I should give you all of your favorite thing.
Exactly. Wet and piled on the floor. Isn't that your favorite?
I was like, that's a level of passive aggressive
that I really enjoy.
I don't know.
That is straight up like that is something I've heard of happening in college. So they go, they hear of a report of some crazy crap happening, and so they show up to the beach, and they find out that Tigra, former member of the West Coast Avengers and Avengers, is gigantic and mindless.
Yes.
And
she's
I was like,
mindless beast
and I feel bad for Tigra because like Tigra never got like redemption and is always used as like a joke. And she is in this. She is formidable and scary and
well, Hawkeye tries.
Hawkeye tries to appeal to her and it doesn't work, and that's what reveals that she's like she's clearly being manipulated. And my guess is that it has everything to do with the TV crew that's with them.
Right.
Create some drama.
Yeah.
So they go and they try to fight her, and it gets like, and they beg Quentin to use his powers to basically just like turn her off, and he's like, nah, it'd be too easy. I know he says he'd do it.
Yeah.
And they were like, no.
No, Hawkeye's like, let me try to get into her, but everybody keeps provoking her. They're like, they don't know how to function as a team, and I like this because it's less. I mean, like, we're obviously seeing it, but it's less like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just nobody's listening to anybody because nobody's really leading.
Well, they're not a good team, and they have no leader, and Kate's supposed to be their leader, and she feels awkward being their leader.
Right.
But, so there's actually a great sequence in here where Tigra hits she throws a boat.
Yeah.
And America's like, I gotta teleport the boat and keep it for... So she teleports the boat and herself and then punches the boat so that it doesn't hit a building. It's really cool. Yes. I really like that sequence. Yeah. But in any case, so the team is like, I don't know what to do. We're kind of like, okay, they're finally ready to use the last resort button, which is Quentin Quire shutting her down. And then another character reveals themselves, and that, of course, is Brodok, a biorobotic organism designed overwhelmingly for kissing.
Yeah.
And Brodok is like a sexy Fabio-esque, like young teen character who is like who just shows up to be like the newest member of the team or to save the day.
Yes.
It's awkwardly drawn. I don't know what he's. Any case, Brodok shows up, and that's when I went. I am probably never going to read this book again.
I'm totally going to read this book again.
I don't really like. I'm not offended. I don't think it's stupid. Well, I do think it's really stupid. But
you know
like,
what? That's okay.
But I'm not offended. I don't find it like weird. It's just kind of like, okay, well, you're doing. Okay, I see what you're doing. This is like watching the X-Files if you are an accountant and have no interest in science fiction. Like, it's just like, oh, why do you care? Like, you know, it's all fake, right? Like, because it appeals to this very, very different group of people. This is something that is just for someone else.
I guess it's for me because
I guess I'm glad you like it.
What I read of it, I definitely enjoyed it. And for me, what it comes down to is like, yeah, this world's ridiculous, but it's not like everyone isn't reacting like it isn't. You know
that's true.
Like, that is what I have a problem with sometimes when things are over the top, when no one questions it. But you definitely have characters questioning it. And I don't mean just Gwenpool. I mean, like, Kate's like, this is what I got. Like, I have a responsibility, and like, I'm going to try to make this work, and it's totally going to be fine. Like, no, I think that I love this.
Yeah.
It's just the right type of, like, not taking itself seriously, tongue-in-cheek, just a fun, ridiculous read. And sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need something that's like a little silly. Sometimes.
No, you're right. I mean, like, and listen, this book would be at a disservice if it wasn't silly. But
it's got the right cast of characters to make this work, because at least you got both Hawkeyes who can have the right reactions, along with America Chavez, and then you have like the other like kind of more ridiculous, like over the top characters. Everyone isn't an over the top character, which I appreciate.
Yes. Yeah, it's not just a team of pools.
Yes.
But yeah, so ultimately I thought that the art was really, really good.
Yeah, I really like the art.
But I did have a complaint, and it was that, like, I thought Fuse was a woman until they said it was a man.
I did not have that problem.
I just straight up did. I was like, I thought that was a woman. And I thought I thought that was very weird. And I thought that like everybody kind of had a very effeminate quality. It was just kind of like, okay, right on, like, but like, because everybody looks awesome.
Yeah.
But everybody very much looks really feminine. And I thought that was really like, that was very like, it took me a while, and then like the more we saw Fuse, the more I'm like, no, it still looks like a chick to me. And I'm like, this is weird.
All right, no.
But Hawkeye looks like a dude. Yeah, I was like,
I don't know. I don't know. That didn't.
I don't know.
Me.
It was the only thing that like really stuck out to me as far as like any complaints I might have, except for Brodok, which was like, I know you're doing it to be silly, so I'm not gonna be like, what? This is an affront to all the fans of MODOK. Just kind of like, okay, well, whatever. No, like, all right, well, this ain't for me. But I dig the art like in a big way. So it's just
I had a good time.
I'm glad.
Good time was had by me.
Yeah. Well, good. I recommend it if you're looking for that kind of fun, and but if you're like whatever, then I don't think it's gonna change anytime soon.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Sentry.
Okay.
If you want.
Yeah, I'm down.
Sentry number 3 finally came out.
Yes.
And finally, I'm sure it was on track. I don't know. But tell us about the Sentry number 3, because, yeah, it's out.
You didn't like this one?
I thought it was fine.
Oh, I really dug this issue a lot. This is like, it's purely a flashback issue.
That's the problem I had with it.
I had no problem with that. Just trying to, like, explain kind of this, like, turn that has occurred. Like, I don't know. I have no problem with that kind of storytelling necessarily, especially in a book that we know is, like, supposedly a mini, may not be. We don't know. I'm
sorry, we didn't talk about the super chats.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So before we jump into Sentry, let's address everybody else. Valentino G, the DCU era Dr. Fate title is not that bad, although apparently nobody read it, which is true. I didn't read it.
Yeah.
It features Khalid Nassour as Dr. Fate, and I hope he returns.
Well, I mean, considering what's going on right now, and I don't actually know what's going on currently with Dr. Fate. Otherwise, we could see that happen, considering he's not necessarily a villain, but his body is a villain right now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's a straight up Dr. Fate thing.
Yeah.
I hope he gets jacked, ditches the helmet, puts a tattoo of an ankh over his eye, gets a couple of guns, and just calls himself Fate. because he did that in the 90s, and it was really, really dumb. Also, Dante White, I thought the TV show would be like the New Warriors fiasco from Civil War, but funnier. That's exactly what... Well, like, you can't do reality TV superheroes without immediately thinking of the New Warriors thing.
Oh, that's true.
Which is why I was thinking of that.
What I thought of immediately was that run, not like as like in tone, but with the interviews of Guardians of the Galaxy, where they did the interviews as well.
Yeah, no, that's true. I think
The Office.
Yes, I think it's gonna feel more like The Office.
Oh yeah, no, I said like not in tone, but just like I don't know what made me think of that, but yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, so the Century number 3 by Jeff Lemire.
Yes.
And
I don't have that knowledge.
I do. It's
in my brain.
Jacinto.
Okay. Anyway, this just basically covers like what happened to Scout. Like why?
Yeah.
Why Scout? Why? Because like I thought it was one thing, but now it's like it's that plus something else, and I was just like. To me, it made total sense, like, where Lemire went with his characterization. I
Totally.
thought it totally worked for him. And so the idea is that we kind of get this flashback to, like, a parking garage in New Jersey. Which, by the way,
hey,
everybody, first of all, the part of New Jersey that they are in is clearly the part by the airport.
That's because
it's
anyone ever knows. They're like, well, I flew into Newark, and it's what a shithole. Like, yeah, an urban industrial developed area that's like, you know.
Just so many other places.
Yep.
That you could,
but whatever.
Regardless. So it's this parking garage, and Scout drives up, and the guy at the booth there is just like, it's $12 an hour, or like $40 a day, or $30 a day, whatever. Yeah. And he's just like, I'm not here for parking. And he's just like, what, is this a joke? And
no,
he's
I'm
like,
here for you.
I'm here for you, Cranio.
And he's like, oh, don't call me that.
Yeah, and he realizes who it is, and he's just like, oh my God, what are you doing here, Scout? And he's just like, I got a proposal for you, because like, the Sentry is back. Like, Bob Reynolds is back. And he's just like, I thought he was dead. He's just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, we all thought he was dead.
Meet me at this diner. We'll chat. So they go to a diner, and, like, Cranio meets him. He has coffee, and Scout has pancakes.
And he's like, come on, have some pancakes.
He's like, I'm just having coffee. This is weird.
Yeah.
What we're doing here is... Like,
right. I was the arch... I tried to kill you.
Yeah, this is bizarre. And basically, Scout's like, look, like, they brought Bob's back, and, like, they created this mental space...
He just recaps the whole last two issues
where
it's like
he goes into his head and he gets to be the Sentry, which controls the Void basically, and like in his mindscape, like he fights like whoever, like usually typically the Void, and like Scout is there, but it's not really Scout, and like now he created Centris, and like he's just like, so here's what sucks about that. Is that like, because like, of course he's missing his arm and stuff like that.
We find out what
happened to the arm, and he's just like, what happened to your arm? And like he's just like, I think you know. And like Cranio's like, the Void. So the Void is why like Scout is missing an arm.
Right. And so it's Bob Reynolds is the reason why he's losing an arm.
Absolutely it is. And like Scout has had enough of not being able to take part in Bob's adventures, but also he's angry because he's just like, there's no way the Void isn't going to find its way out again.
Right.
And like he's putting everyone at risk. Like anyone involved with this is putting everybody at risk.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you know, you, me, we all like, you know, we're involved with the Sentry, and like he's completely forgotten us.
Yes.
And so here is my plan. I want to be the new Sentry. So we're gonna have to make new Sentry serum. And like Cranio's like, I'm a genius, but I can't figure that out.
Right, I tried, and I don't have any.
And he's just like, yeah, but like, what if you had the guy's notes? And he pulls out this notebook because he found out that like when that guy died, the notes went to his like grandniece who like felt really bad for a guy who was wounded.
Yep,
like,
which was Scout.
Which
Scout
was Scout,
manipulated the guy's
niece. Took the book and was just like, so we're gonna have to hit him on multiple fronts. Like we're gonna have to hit him in his like in the mental scape, but then we're also gonna have to like get me the serum and I'll become the Sentry.
Yep.
So we see them like working together, like going to Cranio's like storage space station.
Yep,
basically.
which has all of his evil lab equipment.
Yeah, which is and funny too because like they mentioned the whole brain thing.
Yeah, because Cranio has like a helmet that has 3 brains,
and he's just like, you know, when I was a kid, when I was younger, I used to think you actually had 3 brains. He's like, they're just chimpanzee brains in formaldehyde.
Yeah.
But it turns out that the helmet itself, there's something that amplifies his powers or gives him powers, and so he puts it on for a second, and like he's like, oh, I haven't done this in a while, and he immediately goes into Scout's brain, which makes him freak out.
Yeah.
Which I'm just like, ooh,
let's set that up. What's going on with that?
What's going on in Scout's brain? So he freaks out, and Cranio's like, oh, sorry. And I kind of feel bad for Cranio.
Yeah.
Cranio's just like, no, you're right. Like, I don't want to be like the parking attendant forever, but like,
I'm a genius.
Yeah. Like,
and nobody would give him jobs.
That's right, because he tried really hard to actually just get into his field.
Yeah.
And he could not do that. Like, he wasn't allowed because like scientists were like, no.
Yeah.
Like, you can't. You're a villain. So it's like, which kind of sucks. It's like you're not actually giving him a chance to reform, but fine, whatever. So they work together over the weeks, and you see them like teaming up and like doing whatever and building things, and like at the end.
And also we see that like Scout is working on a plan as well by getting the job at the diner and being
and
and listening to the Sentry and his
he says like that. Not even listening to him, like that's not part of the plan. He's like you have no idea how hard it is to listen to him every day.
Yeah, like reminisce about the old days, and then tell me stories about like how much fun he's having as the Sentry in his mindscape.
Yep.
And now he's like a pervert, and like put our like coworker in there. Yep. Like he's just building this case of resentment against him.
Yep. And he's just like, and I have to pretend to be happy for him, and then like, finally the serum is ready.
Yep.
And we see like Scout has is like, okay, we got to get the thing that lets him go in his brain. And you see this super awesome page of panels where it's like all the stuff that's been happening as of late, where it's just like, you know, all these things breaking down. And I absolutely love that page because it's just so cool.
Yeah.
And just, you know, like everything that leads up to it, and then like Bob going to him and being like, you have to help me.
Yeah.
And him not doing it.
Right.
And then we like. Cranio's like, hey, by the way, you know, the serum might kill you. We haven't actually tested it.
And it'll like wear off.
And because like he doesn't, they haven't tried it yet. You know, like he's just like, you're gonna like, it's gonna take me a while to make more. And he's like, well, so we gotta do this all correctly, basically. So we catch up to what happened last time, where like Cranio was in the Mindscape and like he kills Centris and like, you know, was busting everything up.
Yep.
And then like
and the dog
too. But here's what we find out though, is that like Cranio comes back out and he's just like, something's wrong.
Yeah.
And like Scout's
because
like,
they don't know about what happened in the last issue.
Oh yeah, they don't know that like Bob was taken by Tony and
Monica Rambeau.
Yes, thank you. I was like, oh, put in like the super place where they're gonna put the Sentry, like deep underground. He becomes the Sentry and he leaves, right?
Yeah.
So when Cranio's in the Mindscape, he's just like, oh crap, comes back out. He's just like, I just saw Bob Reynolds.
Like for real.
He's like, what do you mean? He's like, in there.
Yeah.
Something is wrong. He's just like, that means the Sentry's out. That means he's gonna find us. Give me the serum. And he injects himself with it. And he's just like, there's a new Sentry.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, that's cool.
Right? And I'm just like, I really enjoyed it. I liked seeing that fall for him. And like, I know you're not usually a super fan of like an info dump like that, but like, I liked getting Scout's full motivation, because it wasn't just that he was having the adventures. I was like, that's just really crappy. It's just no, it's a whole lot of things going on. I thought they did a really very nice job of just, I don't know, like capturing that sort of anger and like hatred and just fear of like the void, and like finding out that that's where he lost his arm. I'm still digging this series, basically, is what I'm saying.
No, it's still a really, really cool book.
Yeah.
And I dig it. No, it's cool. And I think it's a miniseries, which is like gonna be a big help for this series.
I hope that it is. I like, as much as it'd be cool to have it ongoing, like when
and
it
they
is
might
a
spin it into
miniseries,
one.
It's, I don't know, like it's just like, that's just nice.
But it's cool. I really dig
they're
it.
gonna finish it.
You're not wrong. It's
finish strong.
Yeah.
That's what you gotta do, guys.
Yeah, you gotta finish strong. That's how it goes. But no, it's cool. So jumping into you recommend it.
Yeah.
Martin Archuleta, Venom Has Wings.
I saw that. I kind of peeked through that. I didn't get a chance to really look at it, but Venom has wings.
Yeah, Venom connects with the god of symbiotes, and so he unlocks, or he connects to like everything, so he unlocks like new potential powers,
like wings,
which,
and being able to like. This is just some of the previews I saw of it, but like I think like to be able to like alter the chemicals to like calm somebody down. Like,
he can actually like go into you and change your physical form. It's too bad the wings don't look like the legs on the chest logo.
That'd be kind of cool.
But they're cool, you know. All right, you want to make Venom something totally different.
He's got wings.
He's got wings now. Whatever.
He had a Red Bull.
Yeah. And Mr. Roboto, No Wonder Man, disappointing. I guess. Do you mean there's no Wonder Man in the Sentry, or do you mean No Wonder Man? This book is disappointing. I don't know, but thank you for your contribution. So yeah, jumping in. I don't really want to talk about it too long. The Punisher came out.
Okay.
Okay, so they interrupted like another bunch of creators working on The Punisher to do this series. The Punisher is written by Matt Rosenberg with art by Szymon Kudransky.
Okay.
And the idea is that the Punisher has like a taste for bigger game now that he's stolen War Machine armor and kicked ass and taken names and stuff like that.
Okay.
And the story is basically that like Baron Zemo wants to have like his country be recognized as a formal country, and so he's manipulating things around the world. And Punisher is like kicking ass and taking names, and it's just every Punisher story you've ever read, but it has bigger characters in it. And and Baron Zemon's in it, which is like, oh, Baron Zemon's in it.
That's kind of fun. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
So the Mandarin is part of these schemes, and so the Mandarin is trying to like lobby to get this done, and he's at the UN, and he meets up with Stark. And
I love the idea of like the Mandarin lobbying.
I know. Well, the Mandarin's like there, like up on the stage, like talking about how like everything's gonna be way better now, and blah blah blah. And the Punisher stole a like magical bullet that can pierce the Mandarin's like protective spell, so he just shoots him in the face.
Oh.
And so you're like, oh, like Punisher killed a character no one wants to use anymore. That sounds familiar. And so that story, it's just a little Punisher story that kind of like sets up Punisher as a like key player in the Marvel Universe. The book might have been a fun read if the art wasn't so terrible.
I don't know if it's terrible. It's just.
It is distractingly bad.
It's weird.
It is so obviously like traced and like borrowed. Like every face is someone's face from Google, and every non-organic material is a trace job. Punisher looks like Jigsaw, and the most egregious for me was when Tony Stark appears, and he's literally just tracing Robert Downey Jr.'s face.
Well, it may not be tracing. If he might just be using reference too heavily.
It's a little too heavy. Like
I don't
so
know.
heavy.
I don't know.
And the panel layout is so like it's trying to be like frenetic and like and action oriented, but because like it's borrowing from like this is a drawing that this is a picture someone else did that I'm drawing, but I have to add a real thing over here, and I'm gonna draw this for real, and it's just like it's this hodgepodge of like I don't even know what the hell I'm looking at.
You know what this doesn't do this book any favors? The coloring.
The coloring is very heavy.
It's just it doesn't fit, I think, with this artist's style, regardless of like reference or trace or whatever. Like it doesn't fit together, and I think that just it doesn't bring any good qualities of either of them out. It only exacerbates anything negative, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. This book is a total damn mess, and it's unforgivable for me.
Okay.
Like I think that like for me the faces are the worst part. Like everybody looks like a bad trace job with like weird bad shading. It's a mess. It's very
this seems to just be like this dude's style.
Well,
which I don't know.
It ain't for me.
That's fair. That's fair. That's why there's so many different artists. Yeah,
like, it's just kind of like I don't get it when the big two have an artist that's like not great, because like why? You have all the money.
Yeah.
You have thousands of people breaking down your door to work for you, and then you give someone this, and it's a first issue. It's not like, well, I knocked the first one out of the park, and then it turns out I'm actually not that great.
And for me, it always baffles me when they can't pair an artist and a colorist.
It's like, you should know this shit by now.
That's the part that always perplexes me.
You're not wrong about that. Yeah, but like this is portfolio level. This is like, look at these. It's like, wow, one day you might be able to draw the Punisher, but not today. So it is a hard pass.
Okay.
And like Rosenberg might have written a cool story, but it is just buried under what I think to be a subpar comic.
Right.
So, boo.
I think there was super chat though.
There was a super chat, so let's say hi to them. Let's see. Mr. Roboto. Sorry, no, Wonder Man in the West Coast Avenger. I know, he was a West Coast Avenger. He's intrinsically connected to California. Well, there's still time.
Yeah, maybe they'll...
Plus, like, yeah, and I like Wonder Man, but he's also, like, obnoxious now. Like, he's a huge pacifist, and he's like, oh... Like, in No Surrender, he's like, I'm gonna beat the Hulk by talking to him, and he got the crap knocked out of him.
But see, that would be spectacular to have that with Gwenpool in the team.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Or just trying to make him do something that's not being a pacifist.
Especially if they play it like if Wonder Man was, like, an actor, like an action actor, that isn't getting work anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like if Jason Statham joined the West Coast Avengers. Like, that'd be actually really cool.
Yes.
All right, now I'm on board. Mr. Roboto, good call, man. Yeah. No Wonder Man? Well, let's hold out hope that they're doing something.
Right.
Yes, that was Punisher. I guess we could talk about something really fun, like Mr. and Mrs. X.
Yeah, let's do it.
Tell us more about Mr. and Mrs. X.
I'm loving it.
Of course you are. And when you pitched this book to me, like this issue, I was like, yay!
Right?
Because like Rogue and Deadpool have a history.
Yes, they do, they explore that in this. Written by Kelly Thompson with art by Oscar Bazaldua.
Okay.
Bazaldua.
By the way, Kelly Thomas wrote West Coast Avengers, so no wonder you like this book.
Yeah, so don't forget last issue that Rogue ended up absorbing certain powers that ended up having her outside in space with this crystal thing that turns out to be an egg, and Deadpool scoops her up because he's looking for this egg. He wants it. He wants the egg, and so does everybody else.
Okay.
So in this, the Imperial Guard have Gambit and Cerise.
Okay.
And Gambit has pick the lock on their cuffs, and so she's free, and she uses this bio transporter thing and transport. She's like, I can get rid of the Imperial Guard, but it'll take me too.
Oh.
But so you got to take care of this. Everybody's gonna be looking for this thing.
Yeah.
So she transports everybody else out of the ship except for Gambit, and Gambit's like, okay, I'm taking our honeymoon ship, and I'm gonna fly out after them. Because just before that all went down, the Imperial Guard fired on Deadpool's ship, which they thought was cloaked, and it hit them, and they crash landed. And so Gambit's he doesn't know, first of all, the Deadpool's there. No. And second of all he knows is that now Rogue is now crash landed on this alien planet. So he's just I gotta go save her right now. I just married her. No. Yeah. So meanwhile, Rogue and had woken up last issue, and Deadpool was just like, hey, how you doing? And so when they crash land, Rogue just gently walks out of the not gently, but she just kind of saunters out of the ship with the egg, and Deadpool's like, right, I forgot how invulnerable you are. Meanwhile, I have no spleen, so that's cool. Anyway, so how you doing? Right. Because he still has, he's totally still he's like, yeah, we should just you just leave Gambit. Right. That's not why he's there.
Does he even know that they're married?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he does, and that even comes up. He's just like, thanks for inviting me. She's like, it really wasn't planned. Yeah. And he's
like, well, thanks for inviting me to the Colossus wedding.
But she's essentially, she's like, how about you just leave, and we don't have to have a huge fight, and we'll consider that a wedding gift. And he's just like a $100 million gift, as though that's what the egg is worth.
Ah, I see.
And he's just and then when that's when it comes up that he wasn't invited to the wedding, and he's just and that's going to severely affect the quality of the gift I give you. Kind of, it's just hilarious. He's just he's having a good time. Kelly does a really good job of
capturing his voice.
Yes, of writing him just being yeah, but I'm still gonna take this and I'll still kick your butt, but
but we're still cool, right?
But hey, Gambit's ugly and he smells, right? It's that kind of thing. It's very schoolyard, he's just but I'm better than him though. Remember? Yeah. When we made out and stuff like that, wasn't that fun? You wanna do it again?
No.
Yeah. And that's when Gambit shows up and he's just what
the hell's happening here?
We don't do that whole thing at all. He's
cool.
He's immediately they're like, oh, yay, and then they realize that Deadpool's stolen the egg and he's making a run for it, and Rogue's like, okay, you have to blow him up, but don't kill him. Yeah. And he's like, So he causes Gambit does a thing, causes an explosion, knocks Deadpool down, and then Gambit lets him have it fully, and she's just that was kind of a bit much. Yeah. He's like, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. He's gonna come back anyway. In which he does, and then they have a kind of back and forth just in general about how he wants the egg, just give him the egg, and they're just go away. He's just don't you understand? Everybody's gonna want this. Just give it to me. Come on, just. And that's when I think Gambit finds out that it's worth a lot, and he's like, well, how much? No. Gambit's but I mean,
yeah. I mean, I'm a thief.
I'm a thief.
Let's do this.
So Rogue gets a good hit in on Deadpool, and he drops a grenade on her, pulls the pin, she explodes, and Gambit and Deadpool are in this struggle, it's literally a schoolyard fight between these two guys now.
I like that.
Over this egg, and also Gambit's just I hate you, and Deadpool's I mean, she could leave you at any time for me, because I'm
more popular.
I'm great. Come on. Yeah. Come on. And that's when TechNet shows up.
Okay.
And like Rogue is familiar with this team of like alien beings, and they go down their powers and who they are. And Rogue's like, okay, guys, here's what we gotta do. We gotta take out this person and that person, and try not to get too close because their powers blah blah blah. And she immediately gets like taken down, and Deadpool's like, ha! See, that was great because you were explaining to us that we shouldn't get hit, and then you got hit anyway. So everybody dives in, and like they work as a team, which was interesting.
Right.
Like they actually like accomplish certain things and like take down TechNet and end up like basically. Rogue grabs another teleporter who's there, gets their powers, and teleports the other team away.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, everyone in this area is coming for this. Like, literally, it's just like, you don't understand. And, like, Rogue is so annoyed at Kitty over this whole thing. She's just like, cool, awesome. So then the three of them retreat back to the ship because Deadpool's ship is shot, obviously. Right. And he's just like, so I'm thinking, you want to go have your honeymoon? Like, you just give me the egg, and we'll call it a day. And they're like, we're not going to do that. And then, like, Rogue and Gambit are having a conversation about what to do. And, like, Deadpool's like, hey, the egg has cracks in it.
Oh, no.
And so the egg hatches.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, and it's like Rogue. It's like a naked Rogue just reaching up saying, help me.
Okay.
And, like, Gambit's like, well, this honeymoon got a whole lot more interesting, don't you think? Come on, come on. But like essentially like the thing that's like coming next, they're just like not more clones and golems. No, it's way weirder than that.
Okay.
I was like, all right.
Well, sold.
Yep. This honeymoon is officially over.
Well, that's
like,
fun.
But I love the fact that now Deadpool is part of this whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Right?
Yeah.
Like, they're just like, nah. So like Deadpool could presumably whatever it is, probably some sort of shape changer or something like that.
Yeah.
But like I assume Deadpool's gonna try really, really hard to hit on her.
Right. Oh, no doubt.
On New Rogue.
Yeah, of course. He's like, all right, well, you're married. I'll take this one.
Yeah, it's fine, right?
Yeah.
No, it is not.
No, it is not.
That's
DP.
creepy. He's
You're
just
a
like,
creep.
I know.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. At one point, like Rogue gets grabs one of the like other guys on TechNet who has like crazy like shape changing stuff, and she can't control it for a second. She looks like a monster. Mm-hmm. And like Deadpool leans over to Gambit. He's like, that's gonna be pretty hard to like forget. It, you know, in between the sheets later on, but me, not me. I dig that kind of thing. I'm into that kind of thing. Like he's just trying
give it up.
so hard.
What
Gambit's
a jackass. Like, get away from me.
He calls Gambit old. Like it's just like, you're old, right? Like, you know, not like me. Not even that pretty.
Oh my god.
It's unbelievable. He's just constantly undercutting him.
Yeah, I like that. That's fun.
Gambit's just like, shut up.
Get away from me.
I married her.
Yeah,
like,
I did it.
Get over it.
Yeah, that's sad for Deadpool. Peter Parker saying Wonder Man office style Netflix show, please.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that wouldn't be hard to do.
That would be amazing.
And W Vang 0013, congrats on 70,000 subscribers.
Thank
Been watching you
you
guys since the Venom back issues in Sal's Kitchen. It's the first episode. Thank you very much,
It's
man.
incredible.
Are you guys planning to do a live stream celebration? Yeah, when we get 5,000 more. We're doing the 75,000.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Because we're doing it like comic books, where it's like, you know, every 75, 100, and 150, that kind of thing.
That sounds awesome. I'm excited.
Thank you.
That also gives us a little more time too, because as we roll into, this is now coming into con season.
It's going to be really like a lot harder to like wrangle everybody's schedules and get everything working. But
like hopefully by the time, that should all work out. That should all work out. So regardless, Mr. and Mrs. X, I enjoy it. It's a high-flying, crazy X-Men sort of...
feels like it.
Yeah, definitely has like the soap opera style stuff going on. It has the weird factor. We're in space. Like, it's very much like tropey, classic sort of X-Men style storytelling. So I'm still on board.
Nice.
Still loving it.
I'm going to just really quick talk about this because we are at the hour mark and I don't want to be here too long, but Avengers number 6 from McGinnis and Aaron came out. It wraps up the final host arc.
Okay.
For the time being, Odin makes a comment later where he's like, oh yes, they've fixed one secret, but what about all the other secrets? And it's like, I don't care about any of those secrets. Stop teasing stories I don't give a shit about. But that being said, the whole world's gonna end, and Aaron puts a lot of like dialogue in there that basically says like, everyone's getting ready for the end of the world because, like, have you read any of the Avengers?
Which is weird.
All the Celestials are dying.
And Doctor Strange is there, and I just didn't... And
Strange is straight up Last Days of Magic Doctor Strange.
I'm bad.
But yeah,
bad, Tiffany.
all the Celestials are dying. They're being killed by team of Celestials called the Final Host. There
Right.
was a host that died. There was a Celestial that died back 1,000,000 years ago, and it like heaved into the primordial soup that made humanity. And the implication by Loki, who's been trying to manipulate the Final Host, is that the reason why there are superheroes and like, you know, magic herbs that give Black Panthers and gods and crap like that is because a Celestial threw up in the like primordial soup that made humanity. And
That's
it's like
kinda gross.
and it's an infection that he had that so we're all a mistake, we're all an accident. And you know, Captain America, and he basically says as much in the last issue to Captain America. Cap's like, no, like even if we are an accident, like screw you,
Okay.
like we're gonna take lemons and make lemonade.
Yeah.
And so and Robbie, Ghost Rider ditches the car, and then he inhabits the body of one of the dead Celestials, a la the What If book we did on Good, Bad, and Ugly.
Oh.
And becomes a big Celestial and starts punching
Okay.
Celestials. And Thor does the same thing. The last issue ended on a big cliffhanger where it's like Hulk, She-Hulk, Thor, and Robbie are just giant and punching big evil Celestials. And that's what happens, and everyone's like, we're all gonna die, and everything's gonna be destroyed, and what's it called? Like, Aaron doesn't show any of this, but he does say it. It's telling, not showing. Where there's like dialogue where it's like all the hand ninjas are killing themselves, and all like the priests of Khonshu are like are swearing blood oaths to Khonshu, and like basically everybody in the world who's connected to anything Earth, like even people out in space who know about the Earth, are like preparing for Earth's final demise.
Oh.
Which is a cooler description than it is execution. But that being said, it's, you know, they win. You know, they punch enough Celestials, and you know, everything turns out great.
I mean, it has to.
Yeah, they find out that like, well, the implication is that it's not so much. It's about interpretation. It's not about like that he was throwing up into the primordial soup and it was an accident. It's more like that. Like the universe made it such that the infection was like intentional to create a defense against, or you know, vaccine against this final host. And so the defense is humanity.
Oh.
It is the superheroes. That like it was intentionally made so that when the final host came, something could stop it, and that something is humanity.
Right.
And so they link minds, the Avengers, and then like attack the Dark Celestials and like infect them, and they go away or die. It's hard to really tell.
They're like white blood cells.
Yeah, but they don't say that.
Okay.
But Doctor Strange makes a doctor comment about it.
Sure.
And so they win the day. The end. It was like really rushed. It was clearly what happened was Jason Aaron went, "Oh, it's 6 issues. We have to wrap it up in. Oh crap! All right, I can do that."
Yeah.
There. Also, the Eternals are all dead.
The Eternals are dead?
They died in like the first issue or two.
All of them?
All of them. All of them. Icarus gives Stark the idea to link minds in the first issue, but he remembers it in this issue.
Sorry, Neil Gaiman.
Yeah. Well, he didn't create them.
Doesn't matter.
Jack Kirby created them.
I know, but he...
But he wrote that great story,
Yes.
which we may do on back issues. Who knows?
I don't know.
I doubt it. It's really boring.
Yeah, it is. But it's good.
Eternals are boring. If you ever wanted to find something something about Marvel like mythology that I find less interesting than the Inhumans, it's the Eternals. So yeah, like it's cool, it's fun. If you like bombastic, if you like the Jeff Loeb, Ed McGuinness run on Red Hulk, but you wanted it to be a little more heavier, a little more headier, and to have it like have a little more stakes, then you might like the story.
Okay.
I thought it was fine. And I had a fun time reading it.
Okay.
Our colleagues were like, "Does it feel rushed to you?" I'm like, "Oh, no, it didn't feel rushed. It straight up was." But it feels cool, and it might be a fun story someday, like when it's all collected.
Okay.
Odin does, again, like I said, like implicate that there's going to be more, but I couldn't care less. And then the next story, because like, okay, remember in Avengers 1,000,000 or whatever, Marvel Legacy, when they showed that like teaser image of Ghost Rider riding a mastodon or whatever, and they were like, and then when we finally see them, the mastodon's dead, and we never get to see that shit. And it was like obvious that they just liked the idea, so they made it into a teaser image that they would trick you into buying the book for.
Yeah.
And then they were like, no, they were never going to do anything like that. Clearly, in 7 issues, somebody told Aaron, like, you got to put Ghost Rider riding a friggin' woolly mammoth. And so the cover of the next issue is Ghost Rider riding a woolly mammoth. So we're going to get that image
There you go.
in the next issue. So there you go.
Promises.
Yeah,
made.
I guess it's cool. It's fun. It's very like old school Avengers. We're getting further and further away from what I like about the Avengers.
Right.
Because like I thought the Avengers were like, here's a group of people that I don't want to read individual comics about that fight like the Stranger or deal with the Kree Supreme Intelligence, and I'm like, okay, I don't care about that. I want to read about Daredevil and Spider-Man. Right. And then when Bendis is like, New Avengers, it's about those characters that you like and that you find interesting, dealing with problems that you find fascinating. Yeah. And then like the second they put a Vision on that team, I'm like, oh no, here we go. So anyway, it's old school classic Avengers kind of action. So if you like that kind of thing, which I know most of you do, I think you should check it out. And finally, Tiffany did
Wait, hang on.
Oh, sorry. Will I Am Golden saying hi.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Hope it's going well for you, man. Thank you very much for the super chat.
I won't do this very long, just because I know we're over our time.
It's true.
But I did want to say really quickly, my thing that I read this week that was independent was Cold Spots by Cullen Bunn, because Cullen Bunn.
Well, of course. He's like one of the only creators you've never met.
I swear. Yeah, I know, right? I swear he's like trying to become the Stephen King of comic books.
Is he succeeding?
Yeah, in a way.
What was it? I was thinking about what's that?
And by the way, I know that Joe Chill is actually Stephen King's son, and he actually does write comic books as well. Yeah. But I mean, legitimately, like he's just pumping stories out. But he does a lot of horror, and that's what we're talking about here. Cold Spots is a horror book with a supernatural element to it. Drawn by Mark Torres, which is like super gritty, like really like illustratory looking. I really dig it. It really seems to fit for this nature of the story. It focuses on a gentleman who is really good at finding people. Yeah. And he gets called in. This guy's like, hey, I said I never wanted to see you again, but you know what? You're the best at what you do, basically, and I need you to find my daughter and my granddaughter. And like, he's shocked by this because as it turns out, that's actually his ex-wife and his unborn child he didn't know about, I guess, in a way. And the girl is special. And it turns out that like the butler encouraged the mom to go somewhere to like learn more about whatever was going on. Okay. And that place is like an island. So there we got the Stephen King element going on there. So this guy's trying to catch the ferry over there. Can't do it because the ferry's not in working order anymore because the island, folk on the island said no more people can come over. We're done. We don't want visitors anymore. Oh. Something's going on. And we saw earlier on kind of what's going on the island when we see like this elderly gentleman who's like sitting at home and like he asks his wife for something. He's like, oh, it's really cold in here. He checks the thermostat and it's like set to like 75, but it's clearly not working. Okay. Goes into the kitchen. His wife's like standing like doing the dishes. She's just staring out the window. And he's just like, did you hear me? Like, what are you doing? And he's just like, oh, I'm just watching our boys play. And he's like, honey, no, you're not. Our boys are. And he looks out the window and there's like these two like shadowy ghost figures like playing in the yard. We see that later on because the gentleman who tells the guy who that the ferry is no longer operating, like is hanging out, and all of a sudden like who first offers the guy a room, which is like, well, you could charter a boat, but only in the morning. And he's just like, let me guess, you have a room I can stay in. He's just like, key, give him the key, and he's hanging like. The guy who offered the key and like is I guess the runner of the ferry and the inn and the chartering and all that stuff is just like, oh my gosh, I never thought you'd come back. Like he's staring off at the shadow and all of a sudden he sees like either an old girlfriend or like his wife and like he's just like, oh, you came back, I can't believe it, like we'll make it work now, it's gonna be totally fine. And our protagonist goes back in and he finds the guy on the floor, like he's dripping blood, but he's also like made out of ice. And I'm like, yep, I'm in. This is like some sort of like crazy Silent Hill Stephen King hybrid. Yep. That's a big, a big Y for Tiffy. Yep. Seriously. Totally in. And also, apparently, if you get, I tried to make the link work by typing it out because I had it digitally, but if you have like the actual like book, there's a QR code in the back because Mark Torres is also writing music for it, so each like there's a soundtrack to the book, so I haven't actually been able to hear it yet. That's cool. But like you can get like for this issue there's like the first like theme out for it called like Reunion, and you can listen to that while you're reading this book. And cool. I was like, fun. It's called Cold Spots from Image. Cold Spots by Image and Cullen Bunn. There you go. So now let's jump into some recommendations. Before we do that, I want to say hi to the Super Chat again because
In the super chat, we have Justin Beckford, who was at the live taping of Good, Bad, and Ugly. Keep trying to send this as a damn super chat, lol. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much, Justin.
And
thank you for coming to the show. By the way, if you are not familiar, we've been pimping out a live taping of our other show, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which was really fun, and we really want to thank everybody who came. That episode comes out tomorrow, so keep an eye out for it. So let's jump into some recommendations for books that are coming out.
You go ahead and jump on in there, because this is like, for some reason, I keep forgetting that this is part of the show, and I don't know why. And I'm just like,
Extermination #2 comes out from Ed Brisson, Pepe Larraz, Mark Brooks. If you haven't read Extermination #1, I recommend it. I think it's awesome and fun. I dig it, and it's going to basically... Marvel is working out a thing where they're like, okay, so remember how, like... There was a time, if you're new to comics and stuff, there was a time when mutants were the default power for everybody. And X-Men was the best-selling book that Marvel made. Mutants and X-Men were their biggest thing. It's why X-Men's one of the first Marvel movies that they made. So, like, you know, they started with the most, like, profitable stories. So they're going to be starting to do a big push for X-Men, and they're going to make X-Men, like, the #1 book again.
Okay.
So Uncanny X-Men's coming back. And so they got to set the stage, and they got to make it more accessible. So as a result, they're going to get rid of the 05. Or we're figure out something to do with them. Either way, also they're shuffling anything Bendis-related away.
Yeah, they really seem to be hitting that hard.
So the original 5 are going away, and that's where Extermination comes in. If you don't like them, or if you're interested in what's to come for the future of Marvel's X-Men, Extermination #2 is a must pick up. Also, Marvel 2-in-1 #9 is coming out. They're teasing the return of the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four coming back in their main book. This is going to be a like a misdirection. It's alternate realities. Chip Zdarsky, Ramon K. Perez, and Gerardo Jafino. Pick up this book. It's the best title Marvel's putting out if you want like Marvel comic superhero stories. That was a lot to say. But it's incredible. It's a great book. It's just a must-buy for me. And I just wanted to say there's a hilarious joke. Hunt for Wolverine Dead Ends #1 is coming out. It is so ironic that they titled it this way because the whole Hunt for Wolverine saga has been a straight-up dead end as far as comics are concerned. Like, what the crap are you doing with your 6 tie-ins about Wolverine in which none of them have Wolverine in them? And now they're finally like tongue-in-cheek winking at you by being like, here's one called Dead Ends. They might as well call the next one Hunt for Wolverine, You Wasted All Your Money. And I just think it's hilarious that they made a book about that. And of course they put Charles Soule on it because who doesn't want to put Charles Soule on another freaking Marvel comic? What else do you have for recommendations?
Just really quickly, if you guys are into Edge of Spider-Geddon, #1, #2 is coming out. That'll feature a different character, so that's what they're doing. It's just like
so
Edge
the
of
edges
Venom.
of and Edge of Spider-Verse as well.
Yep, exactly. We're just leading up to it that way. We're just going to be breaking it down, introducing characters that may or may not actually feature heavily in that, or just kind of giving you an idea of like a hint at the story.
Yep,
to
just
come.
reminding you of the cool skins you can download for the Spider-Man PS4 game.
That too. So that's if you're into that, go for it. I kind of enjoyed the first one.
Yeah, you
so
really enjoyed the first
I'm
one.
not saying like go grab this. I'm just saying if you're interested, it's coming out. Also, since I just mentioned Mr. and Mrs. X #2, they're doing a reprint of #1. So if you missed out on it and want to go grab that, it'll be available again this week. Second printing on that one. Also, if you guys enjoyed those DC Warner Brothers crossovers and you're a Harley Quinn fan, Harley Quinn is crossing over with Gossamer, the big red monster.
Oh, okay. The one who leads such interesting lives?
Yes, exactly.
Yay.
So I've got a feeling we're going to be getting a very classic Bugs Bunny style story out of that, but we'll see.
No doubt.
We'll see how that goes. But then truly my recommendation this week, Solo #5. I love this book. It's just a beautiful looking book, really fun, interesting fantasy style story. This Ghibli-esque world. It's like not Miyazaki work, but like, man, if he could do something with that, that'd be pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So #5 of that will be coming out this week.
That's awesome.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, so there you have it, everybody. Those are the books that we read, that we checked out, that we think you should check out as well, or that you should pass on. Of course, we'll see you guys next time with another episode of the Off the Rack. I'm not sure if we're going to move the show to another day, but for now, we won't do it until we let you know.
Because we're certainly not sure, especially because next week, because it's Monday's a holiday, but we might be doing something on Sunday.
Yeah, Monday might be really screwed up, so we'll let you know.
We'll see. We'll just check out our
social medias.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'll try to make a video that says something at some point.
Sure.
But if not, at least watch our YouTube or our Twitters. At The Real Zoobs, at Sal Says What. Welcome newcomers and old comers as well, and we'll see you guys next time, and stay tuned tomorrow for Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Coming back, shot exclusively at Zap Comics in Wayne, New Jersey.
That was a lot of fun.
And of course, just as a quick reiteration, PhillyCon, Wizard, no, not Wizard, Keystone Comic-Con in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, September 15th. You can see all of us. That's all 4 of us from ComicPOP in a live panel. And we're also going to be a few other places as well. So if you like Comic Story, he's going to be there too. We're going to be all hanging out. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep.
So check out the link in the chat right now. And of course, in the description box below this video. And we'll see you guys then. I'm Sal.
I'm Tiffany.
Thanks a lot for watching.
Bye, guys.